conversations with a stranger.
The goal is really to teach you about wine. Like, I have no ties to any wine brands or anything. My goal really is simply to elevate your wine experiences so that you can be more educated when you're talking to wine with your customers, clients. So that's kind of what I do for business people, and then of course, like, you know, anybody that is just trying to have a good time and learn a little more. So to understand wine so that it makes more sense, learn to talk about it with confidence. Knowing where it's grown, how it's made and its varietal will help you to describe it with words that are more reliable. Many of these clues you can find right on the label. Make sure to read the back. It may even tell a fable, like how the winemaker took the road less traveled, how she struggled like the vines through limestone and gravel. The process is fun. Learning wine is a passion. That's how it started for me. Now it's everlasting. So what we got here is cava. It's basically, it's a Spanish sparkling wine, and it's made the same way champagne is made, but with different grapes. So the grapes here, they say it on the back, is 70% Macabeo and 30% Zarello, specific grapes that are in Penedès, Spain, where cava is grown. So,
Nice sparkling wine. It is. Yeah. It's not too sweet. Yeah.
And can we take pictures of the bottles or not?
but I work with small retail shops where, you know, if people do like the wines, I can get them for them, or you can find them. But the goal for me is that you appreciate it more. To get the most out of your wine tasting experiences, use the 5 S's and engage all your senses. Swirl the wine in your glass to open with aeration and use your sight to see its depth and coloration. So this is a pretty mainstream, popular brand out of California. Now, I typically stay away from mainstream wines because I really like to highlight smaller producers. They care about the environment. So I think a lot of the bigger companies treat wine more like a product like soda rather than a product like an agricultural product. And grapes are an agricultural product, and it does make a difference how the grapes are taken care of. And more like the quality of the wine actually is better when it's handled certain ways. Let's do a little Pinot Noir. So this is Domaine Carneros. So it's in Carneros, Napa Valley, California. I like to teach more about the grape. Pinot Noir, it's such a tough grape to learn about, and a lot of people don't like it. There's so many different styles. It can be really high acid from Burgundy and Oregon and things like that, and then it can be big and bold and jammy from certain areas in the world. So depending on where you get your grapes, it has a lot to do with how it's going to taste.
Some Pinot Noirs are, I think of them as being watery.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah,
They're usually
like,
watery.
yeah, like this one I like.
There's nuance in those wines, but you have to know and appreciate that. Especially if you're used to drinking red blends, bigger, bolder wines, Pinot Noir can seem very kind of light and doesn't give you the
satisfaction.
Yeah. This is a warmer area. Carneros is cooler for Napa, but it's still warmer than Burgundy and Oregon. Real Pinot Noir from a warmer climate. It's a perfect style for somebody that wants to have a Pinot Noir with a little bit more body. Do you like the wine? Do you not like the wine?
I think they're awesome.
Do you think about why you like it or why you don't like it? You don't like Pinot Noir because it's watery, but yet you could potentially like this Pinot Noir. And that's a real important distinction to make. Every grape can make a different style depending on the wine. This last one is Cabernet Sauvignon from Paso Robles. Let's go back in the day for Cabernet. Cabernet Sauvignon didn't always exist. It's a love story. If I didn't tell it, I'd be remiss. In the 17th century, Southwest France, 2 varieties of plants had a chance to dance. Small berries and thick skin bring bold fruit and jam. And man, is it great steak? Is it candy? This is one of the more typical fruit-forward, juicy styles of Cab, but you can find Cabernet that you'll hate because it comes from Bordeaux, where it's a lot cooler climate. Most Cabernet that says Cabernet is blended with something, FYI. In Napa Valley, it only has to be 75% Cabernet and 75% from Napa. So the other 25% could be anything from anywhere, but it can still be Napa Cab and get those premium prices. I have a lot of different ways that I teach about wine. You know, you can learn about how to buy wine, how to taste wine. So many aspects of learning about wine, wine and food tasting and pairing. Give you those tips and tricks that you can use when you're buying wine, at restaurants, or look at wine lists and things like that. So.
Well, no, I thought that's pretty cool that 3 or 4 couples can get together and they have dinner and you give your education and presentation of the wine, and that's part of the gathering. Yeah, I thought that was cool.
The wine world is going to change,
You know what?
drastically over the next 40 years.